section of the video tutorial, I want to walk you through a specific ethical challenge, how to configure it, how the challenge works, how it appears to students, how they make decisions, and what the outcomes of that challenge might be depending on the students' decisions. So I'm going to go into a demo game that I've created specifically for this purpose. And I've got 3 students who have registered and paid, and they're now participating in the simulation game. And here are how they've been assigned to teams. Each individual is managing their own team. The calendar and rounds shows us that the game has already started. The game started on April 4th at 9 p.m. I'm recording this April 4th a little bit after 9 p.m., so the game has already started. And we also know that because if we go to the dashboard, we can see that you as the instructor have the ability, the option to enter decisions for students by clicking on these Edit Decisions buttons. So once those Edit Decision buttons are there, that tells you that there's an active round, an open round, and students can log on and enter decisions for themselves, of course. Okay, back to calendar and rounds. You'll see that this game has 1 practice round. By default, games have 2, but I reduced this to 1 for the sake of simplicity, and 8 regular or 8 competition rounds. Now, one of the things you'll notice in configuring an ethical challenge, which is done in this column, is that rounds that are already open and active are closed to assigning a new ethical challenge. So once a round opens and students can enter decisions, you can't add an ethical challenge or configure an ethical challenge for that round anymore. So we're in the first practice round. The first opportunity to configure a round for an ethical challenge is in regular competitive round 1. Okay, let me show you how that's done. You see for each of these rounds under ethical challenge right now by default, there are no challenges assigned. And we can assign a challenge simply by clicking on the change link, let's say for round number 1 here. And a list of the available ethical challenges comes up. You can see there are a number of them that are already built into the simulation you can choose from. What I'm going to do for this demonstration is select the BOP testing ethical challenge. So here's the name of the challenge that helps you identify what the challenge is. Here is the question that's put to students when they have to make a decision in the round that challenge has been assigned to. And here are the answers that are available to them. In this case, the question is, do you want to test your BOP, your blowout preventer, BOP this round? Yes or no. So let's select that challenge. When you select the challenge, there'll be a pop-up message that will give you some hints as to the best use of that challenge, and also some guides into which of the teaching notes or other support documents might be particularly useful to you. And these you can find under Help. Okay, so we'll just accept that. And we'll see now the BOP testing challenge has been assigned to round 1. And by default, the Use Announcement checkbox is checked. So each of these challenges, or most of them anyway, have supporting documents, emails, memos, industry news reports, etc. that are associated with that challenge. And you can find out what those are simply by clicking on View. In this case, in the case of the BOP testing challenge, there's an announcement made to students and some information sent as soon as the round opens that has that challenge assigned to it. And then once the round closes and reports for that round are available, there's another document that's sent to students as a follow-up. And so here you get, you see what the information is that the students get. This is the subject of the announcement. It's on their announcement tab. Here's the message they get, which explains briefly how to approach the ethical challenge. And then here's here are the 2 documents that go to support that challenge. And if we open this one, won't go into a lot of detail here, but essentially this challenge is about how to handle a situation where there's a possibility that you have a critical component of your blowout preventer that's faulty. And the students have the option of testing their blowout preventer to determine if that component is faulty or not. The test costs some money, and there's a reduction in production for that round. But then they'll get the answer as to whether that component is faulty or not, and then they can decide how to handle that. Okay, and then here's a memo. This is not from the engineers, but from the finance office. And what this does is present reasoning from a purely bottom line perspective as to whether students should go ahead and test or not. It's up to the student to decide. They're going to take the advice of finance, or are they going to take the perspective of engineering and in deciding what to do. Okay, and so that's very typical. So we can close that, and you'll see the announcement boxes again remains checked unless you uncheck it. So now the next step is you need to click on Save Calendar Round Configuration to save that change. We see here the rounds have been successfully changed. Okay, now once the practice round ends, the regular round, the first regular round opens up, and students will be able to make their decision. So what I'm going to do is let's take a look at the student perspective and what they see when they go in to make decisions for a round that has the BOP testing challenge configured for that round.